Happy Sunday, all you garden divas. It is Kathy Haig here at A Diva's Guide to Homesteading, where I give you tips and tricks to turn your home and your whatever space you're in into something that gives back to you and helps improve our planet. We all need better food, better nutrition, and more peace in our lives, right? Now, what I am going to talk about here quickly today is something I've seen coming up a lot lately in various feeds and questions and even comments from people who have been gardening for a while about mulching. People talking about the cost of watering or the availability of water, especially if you're in a very dry sort of environment. Maybe you're in the desert or semi-desert, semi-arid. Maybe you've had drought for several years. Like, what do you do about watering everything? And the answer, essentially, across the board, is mulching. Mulch, 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 mulch. Now, there's a bit of a process to it, but I had somebody comment today on a post saying mulching is very expensive and it can cause diseases, and so you need to be careful with that. Now, can be true, but it doesn't have to be, with very few exceptions. So some of the things you want to save up over the year that is going to help with recycling. It's going to help you improve your soil. It's going to just, it recycles so much better. Save up all your newspapers. We're talking pop can beer boxes, that type of cardboard boxes. We're talking the dull, non-shiny types, okay? Glossy cover magazines and that sort of thing aren't what you want to save. They don't let rainwater in and out. They don't allow breathing as much. But anything else that's just kind of that dull newspaper print, or the like I said, all your pop cans and beer boxes, save those, break them down and save those, because once you've planted your garden or your greenhouse in the spring, or even if you container garden, you can mulch them as well, and it's going to help reduce that excessive moisture evaporation, the big fluctuations in soil moisture, which is going to help with a lot of other issues, and we'll get to that in a minute here. But what happens when you plant, once you've planted everything, you cut or break down your boxes and newspapers, and you mulch down your rows, you mulch between the plants. I usually put some good compost, well-rotted manure in between all the plants, just can slowly keep breaking down under the cardboard. But around each plant, I kind of put like a little shallow basin so that when I actually put water in there, it goes right to the roots of the plants. And this is another point here in a minute. Over top of that, as I mow the lawns in the spring, and I mulch down, and I mulch fairly deeply. It breaks down. It slowly decompresses over time. You can keep adding to it over the summer if you like. But what happens is watering, I mean, yes, I tend to water every day or every second day, but like all my tomato plants, and I have a big like a yogurt container, from the fridge when it's emptied, and they get 1 to 2 scoops in the morning. And once they're caught up, once a week or so, I'll give them like an extra scoop or two. You have to adapt to where it is that you live. However, you don't want to be using a sprinkler. You shouldn't have to. If you're planning on putting in like drip irrigation, which is fantastic, especially if you have a bigger garden or outside, make sure to put it down first under the cardboard and the mulch. Make sure that it works first, and it's going to drip where you want on each plant, right to the roots, so that you can put it on a timer, according to your water regulations, maybe 2 or 3 in the morning for an hour, every second day, or 20 minutes every second day, whatever it is that you need, because you're going to learn what your plants need and how much moisture they actually need. But it is going to drastically reduce the amount of time you spend watering and weeding. It's going to prevent a lot of those moisture fluctuations that happen, when you don't have the soil covered. So you water in the morning, you come home in the evening, everything's dried out. This is where you end up with problems with blossom end rot, like with your cucumbers and tomatoes. Everybody says, well, it's because of lack of calcium, and that's kind of true, but it's not because your soil doesn't have it. It's when it's the big fluctuations in moisture, your plants aren't able to absorb and bring up those nutrients evenly over time. And if you mulch, you're going to probably be able to avoid this like pretty much all the time. I can't remember the last time I actually had blossom end rot. And when I did, no, I shouldn't say that. I had it once last summer. It's because I had a bunch of family health issues and things going on, and I wasn't being as regular with the watering I did do as I should have been. Wasn't paying attention. But not a big issue here. The thing is that pay attention to what it is that you put down for mulch, like your grass clippings and such. Don't do it if you use herbicides on your grass. Herbicides are designed to kill everything but the grass, and it will affect your vegetables and its ability to grow. If you've got good healthy lawn though, and you really don't do much to it, it should be fine to put on. You can get straw, usually cheaply by the bale if you really just don't have anything like that. Good compost. Like there's many things that you can have that virtually cost nothing or very little to add to your soil. Now, I've also had people say, oh, newspaper is not good for the soil. It has chemical print on it. I'm going to tell you a really good gauge for your soil health, and that is your earthworm content. Now, they're going to go deeper in the heat and, come up when it's more cool and moist. So if you're really hot and dry and you don't see any earthworms, that's not necessarily means you don't have any. However, they don't do well if there's much of any kind of chemical content. If you start adding too much, chemical fertilizers and stuff, you're going to notice a difference. That's a whole nother story. But they love shredded newspaper and cardboard and all that stuff. So when you take it slowly breaks down over the summer and you dig it into the soil in the fall, you're adding organic matter to the soil, and they help break that down. They love it. They're enriching your soil, and it's a good way to recycle these things. Now, one of the last things when it comes to spreading of disease and pests, now some of it depends on where you are. Of course, I've had people tell me that, they have major problems with ants where they are. This is where, between the rows where you're not watering and stuff, put your diatomaceous earth. It does help, okay? But watering in particular is a big thing. You should not, especially in any kind of greenhouse settings, be using a sprinkler. If you have any kind of viruses, any sorts of things that spread, like molds that the plants are maybe prone to, you are going to spread it all over as the water flies and splashes. Okay, watering should be done just right to the roots of the plant. Try not to splash it on the stem, and you're going to eliminate a lot of these things. Now, a resource that I came across not too long ago, actually, for those of you that live in really hot, dry places that have issues with, the types of pests that might be attracted in those areas, is a lady on YouTube. Her name is Moray Gamble. I'll put the link below. She lives in a permaculture village, and she teaches permaculture, which is just some of her information is just incredible. And she does really deep mulching, and as you know, pretty much all areas of Australia are very hot and dry, especially if you're growing things. So I'll find the video that she has and post it so that you can take a look, because there's usually pretty much always a way to make it work, but maybe having better information helps. So anyway, I, of course, cover more of this in my 60-day immersion course, where we bring out your inner goddess and set up your homestead, all the things that you need to know for survival and all that. I would go much more deeply into this. But I am certainly not averse to using other resources, because gardening is one of those things you will never, ever, ever learn the end of in 3 lifetimes. There's so much out there. So thank you for watching. You're, of course, welcome to send me or post any questions you have. And I hope this helps you out. Get mulching, save yourself a lot of time and energy. Bye for now.